What is going on, guys? Trying this one out right here from my from the phone today. See how this kind of goes, but just wanted to touch on something that came up from a long conversation that I had with a gentleman in regards to jelking. Right, as you guys know, I've kind of changed my tune in regards to jelking, right, and that's kind of why I named this. Is jelking smart in 2025? I still think, I'm going to say it right here, I still think jelking is extremely effective. I still think it works. It worked for me. It made the initial gains that led to the penis that I have today, right? My cock is as big as it is today because of the foundation that I built with jelking, right? And that is undisputable. And I was just thinking about it long and hard after I had the conversation with this gentleman, and he's basically asking me like, yo, would you still recommend it? Is it still good? Long story short, I think jelking is still effective. Even in 2025, even in 2050, as long as we're human beings, not cyborgs, by, whenever that time comes, man, like, I think it is still super effective. However, the thing that I always run into when I read on the forums about people that are like, oh, I'm injured again, or I got hard flaccid, I got this, I got that. My biggest thing is always like, what are you doing, right? Like, to get those kind of injuries. A lot of people say, hey, I just didn't know how to gauge it. I didn't know how to really step into it. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's kind of where I always draw the line. Like, I think jelking is effective. But even in my book, which I haven't sold for a while, I kind of feel like, am I leading people to perdition? Am I leading people to hurt themselves because they're jelking in a way that is not going to be beneficial for them? So that kind of scares me. And because it scares me, I've even gone from recommending it pretty openly to being like, hey, maybe we should take a step back and maybe we shouldn't do it as much as we can. However, I still jelk, right? So it would be extremely hypocritical for me to say that. And that's the whole purpose of today's video, is that exercise that might not work for somebody else will work for you. Perfect example of that, Daniel Gray. I belong to his WhatsApp group, and I see him. He jelks every day. I mean, and if you look at the gains this guy's made in the past 400 days straight of PE, this guy's done it with jelking, hanging, and pumping, right? Like, that's kind of why I don't get territorial when it comes to PE in any which way. Any which way that you want to do it, dog, like, if it works, and nobody can take that truth away from you. And that's kind of where I'm at with jelking. A lot of people say, oh, man, it's super dangerous. It doesn't work. It's not effective. That's a hill that I gotta die on, because that's how my PE journey started. Started out with the V-Jelks, normal Jelks, JP's 90-day program, right? Like, that's how it started for me. And then obviously, the use of the extender and all that other stuff. But when it comes down to it, if you are gonna jelk, just make sure you jelk safely. So I'm just gonna go over the basic parameters as to how I jelk now, and certain things that I would just avoid to make sure that you don't get injured, right? So as I said, and as I was talking to him yesterday, more than anything, I let him know that the way that I jelk now, it's more like a massage, dude. It's not really like, I'm not looking for crazy expansion every single time that I jelk. Like, when I'm jelking right now, I'm looking to just kind of massage and to use it more as a prep exercise that's going to get me, able to be fully engorged when I jump into that cylinder, right? And when I jump into the cylinder, I'm going to be erect, right? That'd be a video for another day. But the whole purpose of me jelking, it's like a warm-up to the actual working set, right? So that's going to be like, when you're warming up, it's not the actual workout, right? When you go to the gym and you're warming up for the bench press, dude, you're doing like, man, I warm up with like the bar sometimes, right? So I'll work my way up, and gradually over time, then when I do shoot up and I get up to the working set, I already got the blood flow, synovial fluids there. I'm ready to go. So the reason why I bring that up, the way that I use jelking now, it's more of a warm up for me, right? Like, I'm not using this like as a hardcore actual like exercise. And even if it is, when I take the breaks from pumping, it's more of a massage just to get more blood flow, and it's more of a massage. That's kind of the way I look at jelking now. It's more of a massage, and it feels delicious. It feels great. I feel like I'm going balls deep in some punani sometimes. Like, it just feels awesome. And that's kind of how I maintain a pretty decent erection too throughout the whole process. And I wouldn't say decent. It's kind of more like it's like a limp, dog. It's like 50, 60%. It's just enough to get some blood flow to cause expansion. in the chambers of the penis when I'm doing it, right? It gets the tunica good to go. It gets everything expanded. That's what I'm doing jelking for. It's not really like, yo, this is a working set. I'm going to, nah, man. Like I do try to stretch out at the end of it, right? To make sure I get the full stretch, but I am not doing it in a way that's like violent. I'm not doing it in a high pressure way. And I'm not doing it with a full erection, dog. There is absolutely no way in hell I will do that, because that's where a lot of the horror stories that I read about, I think really stem from, is that guys are going 100% hard, raging boner. Some guys microdosing with Viagra and shit. And I'm just like, bruh, I wouldn't do that and jelk at the same time, because you're kind of forcing blood flow at a time where it doesn't really need it. It's like all that blood flow is there. You want to, I don't know, focus on something else. Like I have heard of microdosing and pumping, which I think is pretty dope. But anyways, going back to jelking in the safest manner possible, I honestly, like, if your dick is hard and is like, you can penetrate with it, it's the best way that I would put it. If you go balls deep with the erection that you have, you should not be jelking, man. You should let some of that pressure out. And again, so I'd say anywhere from 50 to 60% of your actual, like, rock hard, ready to go balls deep erection, I would keep your dick at around 50 to 60%. I would not do more than that, man. If you do more than that, that's a high, you're looking to probably get injured if you start jelking in that way. So I would not recommend it. I wouldn't go about it that way. And the way that I do it to make sure that I'm as safe as possible is usually 50 to 60%, man. 50 to 60%. And like I said before, it's a warm-up set. So prior to me jumping in to the cylinder, I will do some jelking. And then I'll do about anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes of edging. Make sure I get into that pump hella erect, right? Make sure I'm hard, bricked up when I go into the pump. And the reason why I do that is that I want to maximize the size of my erect penis when I am in the cylinder. That is the whole purpose of me pumping. I want to expand that erect size right to the max, dog. Like I'm looking to expand that, right? And so that's a different bag of worms. But when I do the jelking, it serves that purpose. And then when I take it out of the cylinder, sometimes you will see that the glands of your penis, it's lost a little bit of oxygen, right? There's not as much blood flow, so it will be a little bit more purple. And that's where the jelking comes in. And again, it is not like hard jelk, man. More than anything, I do it just to get the circulation going, just to get that blood flow in there, and just really get it, looking big and juicy again and healthy. I want it to look like it's full of good, healthy blood. And I want to make sure that it's good to go for the next round, right? Where I will be jumping into the cylinder again. And I just repeat that process, right? So I will be jelking in between, and then I will do like a 1 minute edge, boom. And then just jump in. And like I told you guys too, right now I'm just doing a maintenance set. I don't have time. Like I really don't. I really enjoy the podcasting side of things. However, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes where I'm like, holy shit, like there's a lot of editing. And even now we're, my accountability coach is like, hey, you should be putting on social media, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And I'm working on these different things along with the fitness side of things, right? So again, there's a lot on my plate. So I am doing a maintenance. And unfortunately, that comes down to like last week was twice a week, but I am very happy with the results. I'm very happy with the fact that I can just maintain, right? Because there was a time where, I stopped doing PE altogether and I lost like half an inch. So I don't want to repeat that process. And the best way to go about it is just to do a simple maintenance routine. And again, if you want to jelk, you can jelk, you can go about it that way as well. Just go in the shower. And I'm pretty sure it'll help to ensure that you keep most of the gains that you've made. Because ultimately, that's what you're doing this for. I myself am at a point now, like I was thinking about it the other day. Like I started this like when I was like 21, man, like 21. Fuck, and I look back now, I'm 36. So that was about 15 years ago. Right. So I'm not looking to make the same gains that I used to. And most of the gains that I made genetically, I probably reached, most of my potential. I hope not. I'm looking into other modalities and other things that work. And obviously you guys know like the different urologists that I've had on the show have talked about different things that I have not tried. Right. So there's a lot of different things that you can do that are going to help to make sure that you maintain the gains. Because more than anything, I just want to talk about maintaining gains and using jelking safely. In this video, I guess, for myself, because that's kind of the way that I'm going about it. If you are looking to make gains with it, then sure, JP's 9-day program works. A lot of the guys have reached out and told me, hey, you know what you wrote in the book was actually very effective. And they didn't hurt themselves, right? Which is the key factor. And that's why I always talk about, low-hanging fruit. You don't want to go high pressure. You don't want to go all out. You don't want to do it in a way that's going to hurt yourself. That is the worst way to go about it, right? You always want to ease into it, whether it's hanging, stretching, clamping. Bro, these are dangerous exercises. They can all be potentially dangerous, right? So that's kind of why I continue Jelk in 2025. And that's why I don't think it's dangerous. However, I'm experienced in this field. Would I recommend everybody do it? I wouldn't recommend everybody drive a car. I wouldn't recommend everybody cross the street because some people are fucking stupid. So that being said, if you are going to do this exercise, approach it with caution, right? Approach it with caution. Do it in a way that makes sense. Would I recommend everybody do it? I mean, does everybody need to do it? Not at all. There are so many different modalities, whereas now I kind of view it like if you do a basic massage the way I do it, if you pump, it'll probably be way more beneficial if you are looking for girth. Um, but again, when I started PE, like we didn't have the caliber of products that we got now. Like I'm looking at some of the extenders and I'm like, God damn, those things are beautiful, right? And I'm saving up to get myself another one, man. And I'll talk about that in the next video. But other than that, do I still jelk in 2025? Do I still think that it's valid? Do I still think that it works? Like I said before, it's what started the journey for me. So I know it works. I made my gains from it. Do I think everybody should do it? Probably not. Do I think everybody should try it? Maybe. But I don't think it's necessary, I guess is what I've kind of just landed on. And ultimately, if you do want to do it, proceed with caution. Make sure that you do it in a way where you are never in pain. Do it in a way where you avoid the hard flaccid. Be sure to check out some of the forums where they talk about that. And be sure to do it in a way where you give yourself enough rest. Do it in a way where you can progress without pain. And do it in a way where you can recover. Too many guys go too hard too soon. So again, with jelking and stuff, if you want to do it, by all means, go ahead. It worked for me, but you always want to proceed with caution. That's my biggest thing right now. Is just if you're going to do it, please proceed with caution. Please don't end up injured. And if you find that it's too strenuous or something that's just too intense for where you're at right now, I would just say skip it altogether. Skip it altogether. Start off with some other basic exercise and then go from there. Till the next episode, guys, I will talk to you then.